Hi there, Red Plant Girl here. I wanted to bring you out in the garden today and show you my system that I put in this year. I have a system that I've put in to water some of my pots, and then I also have another system that I've set up in the garden to get some drip going out in the vegetable garden. So I thought I'd give you a little run through of what I've set up and what I've thought of it after using it for a season. So let's have a look. So the first system I bought was just a really simple drip irrigation system that I purchased online, and it came with everything I needed, including a timer. It's just a real basic timer. It had lots of parts, including some that I didn't need for my application. So this is the timer. It's just a real basic timer. You just pick the days you want it to run and the times you want it to run, and I believe you can have it run multiple times a day. And you can have it run multiple times a day because I have it set coming on for, I think it's 10 minutes in the morning and then again 10 minutes in the evening, and right now that's way too much. The days are much cooler, and I'm actually going to take this apart. So it has this cover on it to protect it from the elements, so you can take that off and access all your buttons. And there's also a little battery compartment right here, so that's quite handy. And then it's right here. Cover it all up, and you don't have to worry about rain or bugs or anything getting into it. So that just screwed right onto my tap. It even has a little arrow so you know which way to screw it on, so you know which way the water flows. And it connected here, and then I used this little adapter here that you just push your hose into, and then it screws right on the end there. So this system came with tubing, came with splitters, and it came with emitters. So what I did is I ran it out and I split it off in two directions. So the first direction I just ran out under my stairs from my deck to my patio. So then it comes out this side, and what I did, because I have pots along the stairway here, is I just ran it along and I just wrapped the tubing, and then if you look, there's a T connector, so you just push the hose into the T connector. So I came up, I went one that way into that pot, and one came out this way, wrapped around again and connected it out to this pot. And then down here I also had another line coming off and going out to a little pot that I was sitting on the edge of the patio here. So as you follow it up, it just keeps going up to new pots. And what it has, it comes with these, comes with a little stake to put in the ground, and then these just come out. So you can hook those in the stake wherever you want it, and down. These little emitters you just push into the end of the hose, and then see if I can see there's like a plus and a minus. So you can turn this little red part, and that'll adjust how much water comes out of these emitters. Now, they're not perfect and super easy to get just exactly what you want, but I found that worked pretty well, especially for my first year trying a drip system. And I was able to get them hooked up and get everything pretty much what I needed. So the hose went up, and I have it split into these pots, and when there was lettuce and other things growing in there, you didn't even see the lines of the tubing, but that's my tomatoes, and I had lettuce, and I have some herbs there, so that all split out there to keep them nice and watered. Then I had it split and come along, and I'll see if I can, so then I have two emitters in each of these baskets. So I have 3 of these baskets. I think they're about 2.5 feet, around, I don't know, 75 centimeters wide each. on the front of the deck here, and they get morning sun, so they're not baked in the heat of the day. So they each have two emitters going on them, just at about a medium rate for what these do. And I haven't given them any supplemental watering except for about once or twice a month I'll come out and fertilize them. But they're doing pretty well with that watering system. Now, I did tell myself I was going to come along and get some clips and pin these in here nice so they weren't so obvious, but I didn't get to that this year, so that'll be a next year project. So when you come back to this timer and you come to that other split that I had, it ran down the back side of my patio and into some pots. So there's 2 big pots there, and they each have a couple of drippers going into them. Done quite well. And then you can follow the line. I don't know if you can see it runs back along the fence there. It goes through this bed and up into my hanging baskets. Now, the hanging baskets are looking a little worse for wear, but this has been a real savior for me this year, having them on a drip system. So if you look, I had that one basket, and then there's 3 more along the fence there, and I had them all running on drip. And normally I am out here, you know, in the heat of the summer, I can be out here 2 or 3 times a day trying to keep these pots nice and moist, and soaking them in large buckets. And I never had to do that this year, and we really didn't have any amount of rain this summer at all, and they've done fairly well. We're down into some pretty cool weather. I can't believe they're even still holding on, some of these plants, but you know, they're keeping the moisture, and they're getting that nice consistent watering with this, instead of me just running out when I can and dumping a whole bunch in. So I think that's really gone a long way, having them on the drip system. So each of these pots just has one emitter in it, and I think when I hook them up next year, I think I might try and put a couple in just to get it spaced out a little more evenly, because I did take the baskets off and turn them every week or so, just to get, I would have done it anyways, just to get even growth out of the plants, but also to get the water running around there. I tried to get it in the center, but it could use another emitter, I think, just for even distribution. But I think they've done really well on this system. It was easy to put together. The hardest part was trying to push the connectors and the emitters into the hose. The company suggested dipping the hose in some warm water for just a few seconds, and that definitely did make a difference and made it a lot easier to hook it on. But I ran out of hose at one point and used, I think it was Rainbird brand. I'm not positive on that, but I did find that hose easier to hook on. So much easier, in fact, I wondered if the emitters would pop out, but they didn't. Now again, you can see I just left the hose swooping down there. I had intentions of getting that pinned up to the fence to look nicer, but so all I have to do now to get them ready for winter is turn the water supply off to the tap, and I should be able to get a little bit of pressure in there. I should be able to take this off and gather up all the hose and the drippers and put them away, drained out, and they should be ready to store for the winter and ready to put back on next spring. So that's what I'm going to do with these. So there, I've got the timer off, and it just unscrews from the part that hooks to the tap. They made it really easy for you to do that way. And then I can just take this part off, and it has a little screen. It came with a little screen. They recommended having a pressure regulator I did not put a pressure regulator on. I took my chances with that because it was a cheap system anyways, and we don't have really high pressure here. And I didn't have any trouble with too high of pressure, any of the emitters popping off or anything. So now I just have to follow around and find all the tubing and pull it all out of the plants. So that's how much tubing I had running to get all those pots watered. I counted and it was about 20 pots that I had on that system this summer, which I was still hand watering. I still had other pots that weren't on the system, but that made a huge difference in how much time I spent hand watering pots this summer. Something I've always thought about putting in, but I was always a little nervous, not sure how it would work. But it was really easy to put together and it worked really well for me. Definitely made life easier, and when I would go away, I wasn't as worried. I'll have someone come in and water things and check on the yard, but this cut down on how much I was asking of someone else to do for me. So if you've been thinking about a system like this, I definitely say give it a try. I think I spent around $35 on this. Find yourself a timer. I think that's very important to have a timer. If you like running out and turning the tap on and off, maybe it doesn't matter as much to you, but for me, I really thought the timer was an important piece of this system. But yeah, that's a lot of hose. I don't think it really has to come off for the winter because it would drip out and drain out. So it should be fine to leave out over the winter, but where I had some of it, I thought it might be difficult to shovel off the deck and that. And also I just wanted to show you how much hose I had running to everything. But so that's the system I had for my flowers and a few veggies on the deck.